It's a wonderful morning, International Women's Day. What better day to protest against Unitarian Universalists' cover-up and denial of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. So that's John Inder. We've had some interesting discussions in the last month or so as he's been coming into church, I guess leaving. He doesn't want to have a chat, which is fine by me. I've already got plenty of interesting discussion with John. But yeah, I just thought I'd let him know, that International Women's Day in particular is especially propitious day to protest against the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations in Boston hired Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors litigation lawyer, Maitre Marc-André Coulombe, to falsely accuse me of the archaic crime of blasphemous libel for allegedly, and I do say allegedly, making unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape in what can be properly described as Bill Cosby-style legal bullying that's clearly intended to cover up and deny the fact that certain Unitarian Universalist ministers not only engage in such despicable crimes as...
Excuse me, we have a sidewalk here.
So that's one of the members of the church that's ignored my protest for well over a decade. This woman was a member of the church when I first complained about Reverend Ray Drennan's non-sexual clergy misconduct. So she's had plenty of time to see my picket signs over the years. Anyhow, I've got some light snow going here, and I'm not sure what it's doing to my lens. I haven't actually looked at my lens. I suspect it may have water droplets on it. In any case, I think we'll keep this up a little bit longer. I started a fresh reel of video because John Inder was coming out of the church, and I wanted to have enough time available if he wanted to have a little chat. I didn't want our chat to go unrecorded, but he basically just said hello and continued on his merry way. But yeah, getting back to things, it is International Women's Day. It's March 8th of 2015, and it is indeed International Women's Day. And it really is, I think, as good a day as any, and indeed in some ways a very appropriate day to specifically protest against Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct, which for the most part affects women or girls, because it's not always women that are sexually abused by clergy. I mean, it depends where you want to draw the line between girls and women, but I think we can safely say that a certain number of victims of Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct are teenage girls, not necessarily women. And speaking about that, I really should mention another incredibly shameful thing that the Unitarian Universalist Association has done quite recently, even more recently than accusing me of blasphemous libel in an effort to cover up and hide clergy sexual misconduct, indeed such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. On Thursday, June 27th of 2014, so less than a year ago, UUA moderator Jim Key stood up in front of thousands of Unitarian Universalists in Providence, Rhode Island, during the Unitarian Universalist Association's 2014 General Assembly. And in the middle of what was his moderator's report to the UUAGA, delivered, what was ostensibly an apology. So I got a nice honking away from the woman in the red car. So getting back to what I was saying, Jim Key delivered what was supposed to be a second official UUA apology to Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct victims. As I understand it, it was supposed to be an apology from the UUA Board of Trustees. And he sandwiched this into the middle of his moderator's report, which I don't think was the most appropriate thing to do for something so serious, especially since he led up to it with self-deprecating stand-up humor. So basically people were laughing until seconds before he delivered this apology, or so-called apology. And in the apology, besides minimizing Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct by pretending only a very small number of Unitarian Universalist ministers are...
See, it's a Roman concept.
A Roman concept?
It's from Rome.
What, pedophilia?
Yeah. Caesar and these fuckers.
Yeah, well, it probably...
You understand?
It probably...
I'm from Kash.
Right.
It's not Africa.
Yeah, it's Egypt.
That's a WAP. Africa.
Yeah.
Africa Septimo. That's a fucking Italian motherfucker. You understand? In Rome,
right,
we picked up a lot of shit.
Yeah.
To chain me, fuck me up. You understand?
Yeah.
Welcome to the nice world. And then he sit down in the Vatican and pretend it never happened.
Right.
Abracadabra, it never happened.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Well, it's funny because I was just talking about how this church, which is not Catholic, is saying it never happened in terms of them either. So I was actually
see,
talking.
Man's been fucked so bad.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, why you think there's fucking wars? Well, if you fucking playing these games from infinite.
Yeah, well,
you understand? Denial. Total denial.
Yeah, total denial. Well, speaking of total...
Every fucking thing is denial.
Yeah, of course. Speaking of total denial, the one of the top leading members of the church...
This one?
Unitarian Universalist.
Unity Church?
Unitarian Universalist, not Unity.
Okay. Because my mom belonged to that shit like about 50... Well, I'm 60. I'm almost 60.
Right.
In like 2, I'm 60.
Right.
And my mom was into that shit since I know myself and shit.
Right.
Out of California, that Unity, they got.
I know about the Unity Church, yeah, but
so when you told me that, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, no, it's not to be confused with the Unitarian Universalists. Well, they may have their own problems too,
Okay.
but anyway, the moderator, is sort of like the chairman of the board of the church. I was just talking about how he stood up at the big annual General Assembly meeting last year in front of thousands of members of the church, and
Stated what?
it was supposed to be an apology to victims of clergy sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
But in the apology, he said, and this is an exact quote, "No children or elders were abused in my investigations." Now, I would call that total denial, wouldn't you? I mean, you were talking about total denial. He's essentially saying that in his investigations of clergy sexual misconduct, decades of worth of clergy sexual misconduct by, ministers of the church, he didn't find a single case of abuse of children. That's insane. And that is denial. That is incredible denial.
Not smile, I just...
Yeah, no, it's just, it's ludicrous.
The muscles in my fucking
I know
face.
what you're saying. I know.
When someone says something like that...
Yeah.
Remember, there was a comedian guy about 10 years ago on Zohan. He says...
the Zohan.
Yeah, he said anything, execute. Execute. This is what... I mean, like...
I might want to just step forward a little bit like these people.
Where did I go? Where was I?
Yeah.
Where was I forged that you missed?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I come away with like, okay, they've been fucked, they've been raped, whatever.
Yeah.
You read the same whatever, but yet you come up with a different fucking answer.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, exactly.
Well, okay, you want to continue not seeing? Okay, we gotta fit another plateau for you. It's called, like what Zohan said, eliminate. Because we've been playing this fucking game for too long.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm enjoying protesting it, so it's good talking to you.
God be with you, man.
I think I
You
think
understand
yeah,
the true and living God is
yeah.
with you,
I
man.
know the
That's
one you're
why
talking.
you understand.
I know the one you're talking about.
I understand.
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Not that they could continue playing whatever the fuck it is.
Well,
because there's
there's
enough fucking victims now.
what's interesting about this church is a lot of them are atheists anyway. They don't even believe in God.
Okay. So,
So living or dead, they don't believe in God. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Yeah. So that was a. Don't worry, I won't. I quite enjoy this. This is my alternative spiritual practice. It's always nice to get some public support. So, yeah, that was quite the conversation with a 60-year-old gentleman who understands, just the incredible denial that not just the Roman Catholic Church is guilty of. In fact, the Roman Catholic Church in recent decades is really not in a position to, bury its head in the sand. They've actually admitted to stuff and how can I say it? They've acknowledged many of their problems. They've tried to provide various forms of justice. I'm not saying they're perfect by any means, but what's most ironic is I think it would be fair to say that the Roman Catholic Church has probably done more to try to provide some real justice to the victims of clergy sexual misconduct victims than the Unitarian Universalist religious community has done. I am not aware of any real restorative justice provided by the Unitarian Universalist religious community to victims of clergy sexual misconduct. I remember asking Reverend Deborah Pope Lance, who's an expert about Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct issues, several years ago. I said, what restorative justice has the UUA actually provided to victims of clergy sexual misconduct? And she responded with one word: none. Now, even me, who knows what's